I'm Randy Jones, and you're watching Nasty Knuckles.
You're listening to Nasty Knuckles, the Hockey Outlaws podcast, with your hosts, Derek Nasty Sotomayor and former Philadelphia Flyer enforcer Riley Tocchet, as they go behind the scenes with your favorite NHL players. Time to face off.
All right, welcome back. What's happening, Nasty?
Rigorilia. No hockey to talk about between you and I.
No.
How's the knee?
He's coming along. I think I'm about a week or so away from getting back on the ice, giving it a test run.
Do you think you could get on the ice this Sunday? Because we have a consolation. Why?
Wow.
We have a consi. We got a consolation game.
It's not quite ready for that. It's too fast.
You can't go straight?
Well, I can go straight.
There
but
you go.
There's going to have to be a turn at some point.
Well, not
really. Stop.
So you turn on your opposite leg. On the right.
You know
leg.
how I'm wired, Nas. It's like I couldn't just go out there and just be.
Well, I think if you're going to give it a test, you got to give it a test.
Well, I'm
nothing like
going
game.
to. Just not
nothing like a game to give it a real test.
Consolation game. Boys are going to be too fast.
Jared Signiak's like wanting you out there. He's
He's ready for it.
Yeah, I was like, Rob told me today, these guys are fired up. They really want to play. They got a full. I'm like, it's a consolation game. Riles will come though. I put you in.
You put me in?
Yeah.
Sign me up.
No, I don't think I'll be back from Pittsburgh. I'm going to Pittsburgh.
You're not going to be there anyways.
I don't know yet. It depends how Elvis is going with the Young Kings team to Pitt. And so it starts Friday. I'm leaving tomorrow. It starts Friday. It goes to Sunday. Depending on how well they do, what time I can get back. I'll play if I get back. But
all right.
Anyway, fuck. Playoffs.
Buzzing.
They're just getting better and better, man. Like
storylines.
You've actually stayed up and watched some games here, which is impressive. No, I'm
hard to believe.
In all seriousness, though, like I want to start with like the Rangers and Carolina because the bats were Rangers finishing that off at home.
Oh yeah,
night. And the Hurricanes, Freddie Anderson stood tall, and they played a perfect road game, basically. I mean, not that the Rangers didn't have their chances and everything like that, but the biggest guy that stood out to me was Stahl, like the big goal to tie the game. But I mean, he was a force that night. Yeah. He doesn't have. I mean,
wily vet.
I mean, and he's obviously a big body, and he a big goal, and it's just the way he played the whole game. Not that he hasn't played well. But it's just, he really stood out to me that game. Watching the game, I think he's only got one goal. I think it was his first goal in the playoffs. But it was a huge goal,
big
obviously
goal.
Timely goal to tie the game up. And then they just kind of, they just went off. And Shesterkin, you're not expecting him to give up 3, I think, an empty netter. But my biggest point about this is, to ask you got to go back to Carolina. That's a tough place to play.
Oh, yeah.
And you take it one game at a time, right? But that's a tough place to play. And they've lost 2 games in overtime. This could easily, be a different story game-wise. It could be 3-2 Carolina, but it's not. It's 3-2 Rangers. But what are your thoughts on that game coming up tomorrow?
Well, it's not the ideal situation for the series if you're the Rangers, obviously, right? But it is business, and they're going to have to go in there with the right attitude. But it's not going to be easy. I mean, I think it seems like Carolina gets more confidence every game. When they're puffing their chest out, they're kind of maybe for feeling it out a little bit in game 1 and 2, a little bit, to some degree. But it seems like they're coming more into their own. You got, you got a bunch of FU matches out there. Tony D, in Krempy's face, and not that it's really. It means anything besides like at least there's a pushback, and they're you've kind of waking the dragon up a little bit, and going back into Carolina it's not going to be easy.
No,
for sure.
It's not.
So if Carolina obviously if they find a way to win that game, it's like
exactly. Well, then anything can happen. Right? Game obviously. 7, as we know, and I love Game 7. It's the best. It's the best part of the playoffs if you can get to Game 7s. I wanted to ask you about Kucherov. Like, here's a guy that basically was done. Roddy takes a chance here. They bring him in. He's got 4 goals in the playoffs and a couple big goals.
Yeah.
And he scored a big goal again the other night. looked like a pretty good move that they made, obviously.
Yeah, when the move happened, I wasn't like overly, energetic about it. It was kind of like, okay, just kind of like a, depth pickup.
Right.
Which is, again, it's a good pickup in theory,
Right.
but like it seems to be proving to be a better pickup than we originally thought. I thought it was just more of a vanilla, a little bit of depth, but you add a guy like that to your lineup, and he was obviously towards the end of his maybe NHL career, but
for sure.
Maybe a few more years left in KHL, wherever else, but seems to be working out fine. And
I love to see the bird.
Oh,
I love when he scores.
Yeah. Better buck.
But
he's
4 goals in the playoffs here, and on the other side of the ball, or on the other side of the puck, I should say, Vinny Trocheck, man, still getting it done. He's at 5 goals, 7 assists in the playoffs, and I don't know this, but it's almost like, he's had a lot of FU matches out there with his former teammates, and so like I wonder if there's bad blood. I've heard Trocheck's an unreal guy. I just mean bad blood. Well, hey, you left us, or he's saying, hey, you guys didn't want me, and he's kind of shoved. He's just having a really good playoffs.
Yeah,
and
definitely
then,
a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, definitely. And the other player that really has stood out to me is Alexis Lafrenière.
Oh yeah, right.
4 goals, 6 assists. He's in some big goals.
Oh yeah,
he's really playing well.
Yeah,
and he's first overall pick. Sometimes it takes longer, but he's really played well, I thought. And I still think the Rangers probably get it done. I just think they're too good.
I agree with that.
Freddie Anderson in the net, he's a big man. If he plays the way he did the other night, you never know.
That's right.
It's so I'm really excited for Game 6 in this series.
Yeah, I never thought I would go to Game 6 the way this thing was starting off, but playoffs is a different animal, and you got to go game by game, and teams don't just fall over and let teams walk over them.
Right.
So it's nice. It's good for the league, and it's good for fans, and right. You don't want to see a sweep or even like 4-1 series. It's kind of like
the more hockey to be, the better. Especially like you said, now it's 3-2. Now in your mind, hey, we got to worry about this game.
Oh yeah,
but you get this game now. Now both teams, you're almost if you've come back from that, you almost feel like, hey, we got nothing to lose here. We were down 3-1, and now all of a sudden the Rangers, who are supposed to probably go to the finals or at least conference finals, if Florida gets there, might be squeezing your sticks a little bit. They have a great team though, and Lavi's a master motivator, and he'll have them ready for next game. But I just think it'll be a great game.
It will be.
I think it'll be a great game. Moving on, the Bruins in Florida. This has just turned into a series now.
Keeps getting better.
Last night with Bruins going in there and winning a game. That's without Marchand.
Yeah, I know.
Which we need to talk about here. Your boy Sam Bennett.
Benzie.
That's a huge win. They played the last 2 games. I have a feeling he'll be back next game, Marchand. Back home.
He has to.
You watched it, if you saw any of the, before the game, he was bouncing around, high-fiving, so it looks like maybe he's feeling a little bit better. Obviously, we're not doctors. Well, you are if it comes to knees. but he looked like he was feeling pretty good. Big win last night for them. Swayman. This guy, God, he just looks huge in net.
He does.
He's playing so well. And you got Bob at the other end, who's unbelievable. But, that was a big-time win last night for them.
Agreed, yeah. Yeah, I think you're going to see Marchand in the next game. I think they need to rest him for 2. And they're having success and still going the way they're going. And I'm looking forward to the next game because it keeps getting better. These are two feisty teams, and the storyline keeps getting better.
You're right. I thought last night for the first time, I don't know if I've ever said this, but I felt like you didn't notice Tkachuk last night, and that's tough to say. He's always
dominant.
in the middle of everything, dominating. I'm not saying he didn't show up to play. It was like
just not as much out of him.
Not maybe the big hit he'll give or a goal he'll score. But I'll guarantee he's ready in Boston here coming up. And I was mentioning Swayman. He's given up 2 goals a game. Throughout the playoffs at a .933 goals against average. It's unbelievable, and he just looks so confident there. I love, you see him, he's smiling, he's kind of bebopping around. I love that. I hope my son as a goalie can not that my son's going to play in NHL. I'm just mean, like, I hope he
just
keeps
carry that energy around.
Just
yeah.
have fun with it. Like,
You got
obviously,
to.
there's tons of pressure, but
I think that's the antidote towards it.
Right.
You know, I think
It's
the guys
like-
that do it the best.
Someone said last night, it's a mental position. Cal Pickard,
Yeah,
my
right.
buddy Cal, he said that in an interview. You know, goalie is such a mental position,
Mm-hmm.
and we all know that. But you know, I'm excited about this game back in Boston because here again, did the tables turn? Do they come back from 3-1 like Florida did on them last year? You know?
Right.
And like I said, you got Marchand back in the game. And real quick, I want to know your thoughts on the Bennett goal the game before in Game 4. He gives Charlie Coyle a push. Puck comes right to him. He scores. They try to review it. Here's why I think it shouldn't have been a goal. Because the night before, there was a call, and Baller, I don't know if you can find it, but they call a really soft cross-checking on against Trocheck. I can't remember who did it, but someone in that series in Carolina gave him a little push. It may have been Brady Shea. I can't remember. But they called a penalty. It was at the blue line, had nothing to do with anything. It was literally a push, and everyone was like, this isn't a penalty, even the commentators. They have Dave Jackson on, who's a former NHL ref, but he works for ESPN, and he's like, look, they sat the refs down, and they're like, a cross-check is a cross-check. Call them. Okay? Bennett's wasn't a boom, but it was the exact same thing, and a goal scored off of it.
Yeah.
That's why I felt like it shouldn't have been a goal. And it totally changed the game. It makes the game 2-2 now. Barkov makes a sick play, comes down, scores, game winner. I just wanted your thoughts on that. I mean, you're not a ref, but
Well, I'd like to see more consistency, right? I think that's
Right.
the biggest thing. I mean, if you're going to call one, you got to call the other,
Right.
or none,
Right.
or either. I think, I mean, in that situation on the goal, like everyone's looking at the puck on the left side of the net, you know, and
Right.
Bennett's on the back right side of the net,
Yes.
you know, so it's kind of like a quiet, I don't want to say innocent push,
Right.
cross check. So they miss it and the goal happens. Like I don't know what the conversation is around the review.
right. I don't either. And
But-
I think Coyle was saying, like, and of course, anybody, you're going to try to defend it.
Right.
But he was just like, I feel like I could have, if I wasn't pushed into my goalie, I could have cleared that puck out,
Yeah.
whether it be with my feet, but I would have at least seen it.
Yes.
But he was pushed or cross-checked, whatever you want to call it. That's what kind of bugs me. Like, make up your mind. And I know being a ref it's not easy, man.
Yeah.
They got a really hard job, but that shit bothers me.
Yeah.
When they end up having something to do with the ending of a game.
Well, that's it. I mean, the calls land up being way more magnified around a goal, around the net, obviously. I think it had been a little bit more violent of a cross check where Coyle actually like completely flopped all over him.
Right.
Right. I think it's
Then
like
maybe-
the sell of it shows the ref that like obviously there was some sort of violent play or cross check or
right.
whatever, but it was kind of like in that middle ground of like there was something there clearly.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like overly dramatic on how he ran
Right.
into Swayman.
Yeah. I agree.
But
And, you know, that was game 4, but last night, game 5, tables are turned where it looks like Bob's interfered with. I did kind of like their explanation. I know our buddy Biz was on, like, losing it, saying, he kicks his foot, but I felt like, and Dave Jackson, again, was saying Bob's stick was in the white, out of the blue. It does get hit, but he's outside of the
outside the
blue,
paint.
but his right skate gets hit. But he does get his balance back, and he's ready for the shot. And McAvoy buries it.
yeah.
Like, I mean, so I thought that was a good goal. I don't have any skin in the game. Like either
Right.
way, but I thought that was a goal more than the Bennett.
Than the other one, yeah.
Like, that's just my opinion on it. But I thought Bob got his feet set and was ready for the shot. And maybe we talked about this before, but if Baller wants to show it, but he kind of like. It looks like he's trying to sell it instead of like watching the puck
That's what I
to
see.
try to make the save.
That's what I see. He was more worried about showing the refs that he got touched, interfered with,
Yes.
than just focusing on the play, making the save.
Might have stopped it. He's pretty damn good.
Yeah, exactly.
He's pretty
exactly.
good. What were your thoughts quickly? We'll get up to the next series, but on Bennett's shot to Marchand, who's takes their captain out. It is the playoffs, and you do what you got to do. But
I mean, he definitely, I don't want to say sucker punched him, but there's definitely an intent there.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, You're dumping the puck in. You're then, end of a line, trying to make a line change.
Yeah, right.
And you got Marchand trying to run you. You put your hands up, you defend yourself to some degree.
Right.
But he probably also saw it was Marchand and just wanted to snuck him one.
Yeah.
Was the intent to injure? Probably not. But it was,
just give him a shot.
Was just to give him a shot to let him know
Which
you're not going to run me. It happens all the time. Unfortunately, he gets hurt on the play. But I mean, this is kind of what happens when you play that brand of hockey.
Right.
It's like, I don't want to say a version of karma. Mm-hmm. But he's known as a rat. He's going to take a run at you. He's doing all these little things behind the play and always involved in every skirmish. So Bennett's no pushover.
Right.
You're going to take a run at this guy. I mean, again, like you're going to put your hands up, protect yourself. Unfortunately for Marchand and the Bruins, it lands up working against them.
Yeah.
And
it does.
But they're back in it, and
they're back in it.
The energy is working their way right now. So, but the hit itself, I mean, he definitely snuck him. I mean, it was definitely some bit cheap. How hard was it? It's hard to really say, but he got him.
Well, he couldn't get up.
He had
a tough time getting up. And for the record, I'd take Marchand on my team any day of the fucking week.
Agreed.
He plays.
Agreed.
I think he's. I don't want to say grown up, but been more like. He's aware of the situations more to where he doesn't do as many silly things. Like he's trying to get under your skin all the time. He hasn't licked anyone in a while.
Yeah, it's been a few years for that.
But I mean, it's just unfortunate he got hurt, but it's hockey and it's playoffs and it is what it is, man. And like you said, he's coming to hit you.
You put your hands up. And protect yourself. I would go as far as saying that if it was any other guy, maybe Maroon, besides Maroon, running Bennett or trying to finish that check, that doesn't happen like that.
Yeah,
it was the fact that it was Marchand and Bennett realized that, and
for sure,
there was some bit of revenge or just like setting the tone, whatever that message is. But I don't think he tried to hurt him. But it's the nature of the beast.
Yeah,
it's a tough sport.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But looking forward to that. Game 6, back in Beantown,
no
place
kidding.
will be bussing, just like Raleigh. Edmonton and Van, Battle of Canada right now. 2-2, back to 2-2.
Didn't think that one was going to happen either.
No, man. Our buddy Cal Pickard, first NHL start, 32 years old, is his first NHL, or not NHL start, playoff start. I apologize, sorry. Mm-hmm. And it was funny last night, Elvis, Pick gave me one of his masks when we got him here that year. That was when Hexie got mad at me because he put Gritty on his mask.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was like, why would you let him do that? I said, well, it's not my mask.
Yeah, I know, right?
No, he wasn't like mad. He was just like, come on.
How would you allow that?
He goes, come on,
How'd you prove that?
Like, come on. And I laughed. I said, I can get a change. He's like, no, it's fine.
Gritty.
He was kind of laughing about it. But he gave me one of his Toronto masks, and Elvis put it on last night for good luck. But, pretty cool to see Pick after the game, watch his interview, and he's such a good guy, and he's just one of those team guys, like I remember when we got him, I think he met us in Colorado, and I think he came from Toronto. We picked him up off waivers, and their guys could not say enough good things about him. And dude, as soon as he's there, like I just remember G played with him at Worlds, and he's like, Nasty, this guy's a fucking beauty. You're going to love him. And he is. He's a great
good
guy.
for him.
I know. I'm so happy for him last night.
Right?
Yeah, man. Like, he's stuck with it, and he was the one that said, I think he was doing an interview with Gene Prince after the game, and he's like, goalie's it's a mental game.
Oh, my God, is it ever?
But anyway, back to the series, back at 2-2. Connor McJesus gets hit in the face. I don't think it was purposely. Susie did it on purpose. I think when Zadorov hit him, it threw him off balance. I think he was trying to get him in the chest. I don't know that. But he took one in the chops.
He did.
Riggs, you'd have come off the top ropes.
Oh,
you'd have come off the top ropes.
Definitely would have left the bench on that one.
You would have you'd be in
I don't know. I would have been in big trouble. But I can't believe that nothing happened last game.
I was kind of surprised. Well, Perry showed the Paradog. He shows
the old silent assassin.
He showed Debo. Debo was losing it. Debo's like, I'm fighting this guy because he showed Bose his stick.
It was like two poker faces.
Yeah, right. It was pretty funny.
I'm gonna hold my stick up and not show emotion, and you're gonna look at me and think that I'm gonna cross check you in the face, and no, you're not.
Exactly.
But, it's the playoffs. I understand it's not the time to get retribution. It's just like
It's tough not to, though, when it's a guy like
that's
any of your players, really. But when it's that guy, it's kind of, magnified a bit. Quickly, Leon Draisaitl, I mean, we say this every week. It's just repetitive. But
how many points?
Jesus, 20. 20 points.
9 games?
Yeah, 20 points.
It's like your playoff stats.
Oh, I wish. Connor McDavid, he's got 18 points. I mean, obviously, this guy's probably the best player in the world, but only 2 goals. Kind of surprised me, only 2 goals. But their power play, dude, don't take a penalty.
Yeah.
Like, you can't take a penalty.
You can't.
I know Tocchet's got his system, but if you watch the 1 goal last night, Connor McDavid brings 3 guys to him and somehow gets it over to Draisaitl for a 1-T.
Yeah.
And I will say, Shelov's almost made the save. He almost got to it, but it's crazy. It's crazy how damn creative they are, but you just can't. Sometimes you have to take a penalty. It's there. It might save your goal, but you can't take penalties in the neutral zone or wherever.
Definitely not.
You just can't do it.
It has to be just an amazing penalty to defend a goal.
You have to take. I'm starting to wonder if you should line everyone up in the goal and then let the goalie stand there and just let him tee off. Yeah, because that's about the only way you're gonna stop him. But no, in all seriousness, Brock Besser, Debo's going to be excited, but he's really turned it up. He's got 7 goals. 5 assists, 12 points, and he's played really well. He scored some big goals, obviously. And JT Miller, 2 goals. He's usually scored more, but 9 assists. But he's been a dog. He's a hard guy to play against.
He is.
And he's kind of turned it around since Tocchet took over, right? Because there was some issues there supposedly.
Probably some attitude, entitlement issues is what it sounds like.
And
he's got him playing the right way.
He does.
He's committed.
He's a leader.
He is.
Out there, and you could see it, and it seems like their players, the Vancouver guys, they're following his lead.
Yeah.
They have a good team. Don't get me wrong, but it'll be interesting going back to Van for Game 5. I did not think it would be 2-2.
No,
I kind of thought Van had the. I thought when they tied it last night, I'm like, they're winning this game, and Shelov has been played really well, but. That 7-hole goal, I felt like he saw it the whole way, but hey, it happens, man, and he's played really well, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, another great series. Love it.
Really good.
It's great for the game.
Really good.
Hey, hockey heads, get ready for the Daily Face-Off Playoff Parlay Challenge. Each game day, answer 4 questions. Picking the winning team, guess if points will be over or under, predict the first goal, and choose the highest scoring period. Daily winners snag gift cards, while each round's champs pocket cash. Play now at games.dailyfaceoff.com and prove your puck prowess. It's fast, it's fun, and it's all about hockey. Let's go.
Dallas, Colorado, 3-1. Dallas is pretty good.
Yeah, they're really kind of
we were talking about
coming
this,
into their own now.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier with talking about them losing those first 2 games against Vegas, where I'm
hard to believe.
Dude, they're done.
Yeah.
I really thought that as good of a team as they have, but they're up 3-1. Miro Heiskanen, 4 goals, 8 assists, but this guy's playing so much. His minutes are unbelievable, over 20 minutes, and Jake Ottinger's doing his thing as he always is. But Tyler Seguin's really stood out to me. I don't want to say he's grown up, but man,
he has.
I mean, he is playing unbelievable hockey and hard, 200 feet. He's doing everything you should do to win. Yeah. And it's pretty cool to see. Yeah. Because he's obviously a talented guy, but he's just doing everything it takes. He's blocking shots. He's just doing whatever he has to do to win games.
Yeah, I agree. He's one of those guys when you draft, a high pick back in the day that, ultra elite skill, chip on the shoulder, a little bit of arrogance, right?
Wins the cup his rookie year.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a little cockiness to it, and but he's really evolved into a true leader and just a pro, an absolute matured pro. Yeah. And they have I think that's a big chunk of, they have some good young talent there, obviously, right. But that core veteran group there, and he's obviously a big part of it. Yeah. He's lost that selfishness, I think. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like a selfless type of attitude he has now with the team, and it's noticeable. So not all guys have the ability to do that or actually morph into that type of, say, 200-foot, all-rounded type of player. Right. So It's hard to get away from that old way of thinking when when you're touted so highly and you kind of stuck in your ways. But good for him, man. It's important for successive organizations for those guys to evolve like that.
Some people may not realize it, but that makes the difference in a team that wins.
Agreed.
They
totally.
can win a cup.
Yeah.
When you got a guy like that, I mean, think about back to Ovi when they won. He started doing those things, and it fucking mattered.
Yeah.
He was playing 200 feet for one, probably first time in his career.
Yeah.
Banging bodies. Like, Segs is hitting people.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a little guy, but one of the biggest things that kind of stands out to me, and I'm not a big plus-minus guy because it just depends, but he's +8 to playoffs. It says a lot about him because he's more of an offensive guy, and he could be. But I just feel like he's playing 200 feet, like you said.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to watch.
Yeah. Agreed.
And quickly, Colorado took a huge blow.
Oh, massive
to their
blow.
team with Valeri Nichushkin. Unfortunately, having to go into the players.
Substance abuse program, assistance program
for the third time.
Yeah, it's a shame, and my heart goes out to him. Wish him the best. Obviously, needs some help.
Yeah,
2 years in a row.
Yeah,
can you believe that? I mean, I think he missed games 4, 5, 6, and 7 last year.
Right,
and they lost the series.
Yeah.
And then, well, I mean, you're not going to say it's 100% on him, but like it's got to affect your room. It's got to affect your room. It's letting your team down. Unfortunately, it's like there's a human element here we're talking about, right?
Yes.
We do actually care about guys' mental health,
right?
But there's also this performance and team element, and it's they're kind of the same conversation. It's a tough conversation, but wish them the best, and hopefully Colorado can find a way to fight without him. And
I mean, they're going to have to because they're going back to Dallas. And I feel like the way Dallas is playing, it's going to be a tough win to get there. But, hey, you never know. We just watched Boston do it. We watched Carolina do it. It's the beauty of the game.
Yeah.
The beauty of the playoffs. So we'll see.
This segment is brought to you by Bet365, a proud partner of Nasty Knuckles. Open an account with Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. So whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Use code HOCKEYCA. All caps, HOCKEYCA.
Bet365, baby. Riles, get on your app. Tell me what you're going with.
Well, I'm going with the Rangers on the money line tonight at +140. How about you, Nas?
All right, that's all right. It's gonna be a tough atmosphere, but
it is.
Okay. I'm actually looking to Friday.
Okay.
With the Bruins and the Panthers, big Game 6 in Boston. I feel like the place is gonna be going nuts, and I just have this weird feeling that Boston's gonna try and do something here. So I'm gonna take them on the money line at a +125. Them as a dog at home, I'm willing to take.
Yeah.
So
I like where your head's at.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we will see. All right, Nas, we're ready.
We're ready.
Episode 158.
Yes.
Their good friend, Randy Jones.
Randall
back in the
Cobb.
stew.
Yes.
Here we go. Welcome back. I'm Riley Tocchet.
And I'm Derek Settlemeyer. And this week, Riggs, we got a good friend back in town. A little pissed off at him, though I haven't seen him in so damn long. But we have thrown some tacks back and forth. This young man was signed by the Flyers as a free agent back in 2003 out of the University of Clarkson University. Ended up playing 217 games with the Black and Orange, 365 for his NHL career, along with 268 in the American League. Won a Calder Cup with a couple wheels back in 2005. Also played for the Kings, Tampa, and your Winnipeg Jets. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Randy Jones. Randall, what is up?
Thanks very much, fellas. Appreciate you having me.
Yeah, dude.
Welcome.
Love having you, man. I haven't seen you forever. As soon as you walked in, I'm like, God dang it. Just hate not seeing guys, Time flies by, too. Hey, fuck me.
It really does, yeah. When you get together and you kind of see each other for the first time in a while, you reminisce about some things, and it brings you back, and you really start missing some of those stories and those times kind of spent together.
Yeah.
That's right, man.
Yeah, it's almost like you almost like just pick up where you left off too, right? And
yeah.
Like I saw you at the Flyers, one of those last Flyers games, and it's like right away. It's
Yeah.
like, geez,
Yeah.
like, I can't remember the last time I seen you.
It's
but
been
like,
it's been probably like 12, 15 years kind of thing, and then
Yeah.
and then next thing you
crazy.
know, it's just you kind of you felt like you kind of just chatted with each other, yesterday kind of thing. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So what are you up to these days, bud?
Just doing some coaching, having kids, and doing some coaching here. I just got a newborn here, 3.5-month-old boy.
way.
Yeah,
Already
yeah.
the boy? You got him on
boy.
skate
Finally, no, not yet, not yet. Not working on her, but no, it's I got a girl, a stepson, 7-year-old stepson, and then I got a new boy here, so it's exciting.
Congrats,
Yeah,
man.
thanks very much.
That is awesome, dude.
Your hands full.
Yeah, to say the least. And then, and just doing some coaching at home. Some
Yeah.
U18, some high school age kids, and just kind of having some fun with that.
You enjoy it?
I do.
Enjoy it?
I really do. It's in the hometown there, and so to try to help out a little bit, and still love being part of hockey, and still love the coaching part of it, and so it's a great time.
Head coach or
Yeah,
nice.
Head coach, yeah.
Full commitment.
All right, now
It
let
is.
me ask you this question because we ask a lot of people. Riles went into coaching. He coached against you actually.
Yeah.
Didn't you
Yeah,
coach
yeah,
against
he was
him
in
when he was
Portland.
still
Yeah,
playing in
still
Portland.
playing,
We'll bring that up in a few minutes. The brawl Jonesy started.
Yeah.
Kidding. But what I was going to ask you is, so as a player, like you don't always love all your coaches, right? Like no one does in any sport. But are you a player's coach? You know what I mean? Because you played the game, or are you? There's probably things you brought from coaches you didn't like that maybe I don't want to be like that.
There's certain parts that you took away from some of the coaches that you had. The good and the bad, a lot of the things that you really enjoyed, that you kind of look at and go, geez, you know what, if I'm going to coach one day, I think those are parts that I would really kind of want to implement into my system, so to speak, in the way I coach. And there's some other things, and it's like, meh, don't really like that part. So, you know what I mean? And try to relate a little bit to the players. And so I try to be a player's coach, but the other part is you're not trying to be their best friend. You gotta kind of sometimes be the bad guy to get the most out of them, kind of thing. And so so you do as much as you can to to kind of be with them, kind of thing, be that player's coach kind of guy. But the other times you got to be that putting your foot down and being that bad guy once in a while.
Yeah, I actually started working with a North American Hockey League team, junior team here in the area, Philadelphia Rebels. And I'm the coach there, Justin Hale, a great guy. Matty Gaudreau's the assistant, Johnny's brother. And it's funny, like with these kids, it's a lot different than dealing with you guys as NHL players. Not for me, but I mean as coaches, they still have to put their foot down, and there's it's a different thing. That's why I asked about with younger kids. It's a little different, right? But it's funny to see the differences. They're not friends with the kids, but they do try to have fun with them and all that. But when it's time to drop the hammer, you got to drop the fucking hammer, right? To get your point across, or if they're not doing the right things you want them to do.
It's your job.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
You gotta have to do. If you want to be there the following year, you gotta have to do your job. And,
Yeah.
and it's like I just said, it's not out trying to be their best friend all the time. It's you want to relate with them. You have relationships and you build things and you have some similarities and whatnot. But in the end, when you kind of have to.
Yeah. You bringing are you bringing the Guy Boucher in? You're not bringing that in there, are you? Left wing lock.
No,
The swarm?
No. We go. No, that's a little bit different. Yeah, no, I think that style's a little bit gone.
Yeah,
I
I'm
agree.
kidding.
That's just boring.
We were
Yeah,
talking
it's
about
boring.
that earlier. We're like, God, you remember this guy? I don't know if you were you there when we had prongs and he was holding the puck? Remember that night?
There was
Guy
stalemate,
Boucher?
that left wing
nobody
lock.
to go.
Oh yeah, no,
You
I
weren't
was.
there. L.A.
Yeah, I was in
You
LA
were
at that time. Yeah,
I just
yeah.
remember being on a bench and Lavi losing his fucking marbles, and the refs are saying, "You gotta go," and they're like, "Fuck you, he's gotta move." So Prague just skates back
Yeah.
and we're holding the puck.
Oh, I know.
I'm like, "What's this guy? What's wrong?" We ended up losing the game, so I guess he knew what he was doing that night anyway.
It's just boring.
Yeah,
It's,
it's
I'm
terrible.
not trying to take away. I understand what the concept of it, but
Yeah.
as a fan, it's just kind of like boring hockey.
Well, even
even a player.
some of the players
Even as a
were
player,
looking,
yeah, I
they
don't
were
wanna say
looking
it, but-
over because our guys were going, "Are you fucking?" I think the Stammer and even St. Louis, and he was like, this isn't what we want to do.
Yeah.
you
you're
imagine-
taking away from a little bit of their kind of skill set.
exactly.
Yeah, going back to the coaching piece though, it's like it's funny. No matter what level the players, there's always going to be players and kids trying to shortcut and take the easy way out, right? So no matter what kind of relationship you build with them, at some point they're gonna try and take it easy or shortcut, and that's where obviously
But just making
gotta
sure that
step.
trust factor is strong, so to speak, really,
Yeah.
and knowing that they, you have their back, and they'll kind of go that a little bit extra for you, and just also knowing, I think, especially at that age, knowing, if you're going to give an inch, they're going to try to take a yard out of you. And so you understand that part, and so, but you work with them a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And there's times, and you kind of have some extra fun, whatever else, and you just work together. That's all. So.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like raising children.
Yeah.
It's like you give them an inch, it'll take a mile. It's it's always just like this
You're yelling about
strategy.
candy. His daughters, you don't have to yell. He goes, I just said you can't have candy. I'm not yelling at you.
No,
His daughters,
no pizza in the locker rooms.
No pizza, hex. No pizza. Meanwhile, someone's coming by on TV. Well, going back to as you turned into a Flyer, how did that whole process work? Because you were obviously in college. Did you talk to other teams, or was it just...
Yeah, so, you have a family advisor back then. You can't, in the university route, you can't have an agent, so you have a family advisor. As a free agent, you're kind of eligible to talk to as many teams as you want to, so to speak. And so you just kind of wait for the phone to ring and see your options, hear your options, and kind of weigh them from there, and kind of take the best one that kind of suits you. And that's kind of how it went down. And
worked out
basically
well.
what it was,
Worked out well for you, that's for sure.
Yeah, because you play 5 games at the end of your
first year.
Pro
so
there.
my first year pro. Obviously with the Phantoms there for the year, and then got up for 5 games, and then got up for the playoffs, and got a couple warm ups and playoffs, and that was about it. That very first
Token
year.
warm ups,
So
a few of
that
those.
was about it. A few jokes from my brothers and my buddies at home, but no, it was all good. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. And you had Hitch for the first 2 years, right?
Yeah. And then the following year, because the following year was a lockout year.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
So we had just and then the year after that, Hitch was still there for a
8
handful of
games?
games
10
there,
games,
and
9
then he
games.
kind of moved, until they made a switch there and whatnot. So so I had Hitch there.
Jonesy, you got to play the right way.
Play the right way, I know. And then they hammered
Bang the big
Oh,
guy's beers going in the
Yeah,
face.
yeah.
I've never seen a guy move glass that much when he bang. I'm like, what is he doing? Guys, people are like looking up, they got their beers.
He's a powerful human.
It was. He was very powerful with the glass. I'm not going to kid you. You talked about the year of the lockout. One of my favorite years ever in hockey. Just what a group of guys. We ended up winning the Calder Cup championship that year. Talk about that. Like that was just to me it was just one of my favorite years ever.
Yeah, no, it was awesome, and I'd probably say same here. Professionally wise, it was arguably one of my favorite years. It's just a lot of the whole team just really seemed to truly click from start to finish, and a couple key acquisitions there at the deadline kind of thing.
Didn't hurt.
And then in the playoffs, we did all right getting Karts and Richie. So no, we had some good pieces, and kind of everything really truly fell into place for us. But it was just it was a year to truly remember, and kind of how I look at it, there was no NHL, and so that was a cat's meow of the leagues that year, and so
sure was.
there was a lot of key players. You had Spets and all them kind of come back and play in the league, so it's not like it was just a watered down league, and I think it was a strong league and probably the strongest it's ever been. To win that, and especially win at home, and sold out, and it was awesome, like truly awesome, being that underdog and not even supposed to win a game in the finals. And then go and to sweep them. It was unreal. It was just truly team chemistry.
Yeah, it was.
It was awesome.
Yeah, can you expand on that? Like, because you've been on a lot of teams, like that team chemistry. It's like obviously hard to really quantify what that means, but like it's such a powerful energy, right?
Everybody hung out with everybody kind of thing. A lot of times you have teams, you have a group of 4 or 5, whatever else, to kind of click and hang out together, go to supper together, after we're practice, hang out together. Like it was always, I know we had a lot of times we'd have poker tournaments at my place, at our place, and Skulls. So we'd have at our place, we had poker tournaments, and almost every day after practice, and it was always like new guys coming in, and it wasn't always just the same 4 or 5 guys. It was always new guys who wanted to participate, wanted to play, and everybody just truly cared for one another. Like it really did, and we just had that belief. You know what I mean? We just went out and just did our thing, and it was just awesome. It was just truly awesome year. Really was.
Not to mention the Sunday nights at McDaniel's.
Yeah,
Team bonding.
Team bonding. There's nothing better.
Danny Moore.
There's nothing better until they get the year they're not allowed to wear hats. Like,
Come on.
you're walking inside, you're dodging bullets, but when you walk in here, you're not allowed to wear your hat.
Check your gun and knife at the door.
Yeah,
but
pretty much.
Danny never checked his though. He always had his under the
man.
fucking
Wipe your
counter.
feet.
I
Like,
forgot
really?
about that. The old hat.
Really?
Hat rules.
hat
Yeah, I remember that one.
Wow.
Put that in. But no, that
my
was
God.
awesome. Yeah, McDaniel's Sunday night was, you look forward to that night.
Oh, man.
Like all the time. You hope Ninemaki would not stop or cover the puck on, our home games on Sunday. Just play it. Just play it so we can hurry up and get McDaniel's.
Keep it moving.
Yeah,
And, Litz is on a bench going, just move it.
Right.
Yeah, it was such a special group. We talk about it a lot, but man, it was just God. When we look back and we're talking about it, it's like you start thinking about Divvy, Benny, Jesus Christ, the chirps this guy had. He's one of the best chirpers I've ever heard of in my life.
Yeah.
People ask me that a lot, and I'm like, they're like, "Well, can you get?" I'm like, It's unfortunate. I wish I would have written a lot of them down because there were some where I'm like crying on the bench and I just can't remember. But Divvy was. I think didn't you give him that nickname because he had the divot?
He had a little divot in his head. I was like, I was like, what happened? I was like, it almost looked like he had a 9-iron taken out of you.
Yeah, that's exactly
a little divot
right.
out there, but yeah, he was a great guy. Good fella.
You reminded me of something, and we've actually talked about this before with other guys that were on that team with you. Being the underdog in that series because they went out and got Braden. They got Braden Cobra, but they got Weiss. And
Bowmeister.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. We're like, that's not fair.
Yeah.
They're cheating. That's mob stuff because they had all the money there. Jimmy the Hat.
Payments.
Jimmy the Hat there. What I was gonna say was I just remember that first period, Jonesy. I don't know if you remember this, but the first period of game one, they must have had 2 or 3 on ones, and fucking Nitty literally.
He was sick.
It could have been 4-0 after one.
Easily.
And the funny thing about that is we're in the game, so it's I think it was 0-0 after one, and I think I was doing someone's skates or probably fixing something for Slanes because something was wrong. He was always hurt. No, kid Slanes, but you were hurt a lot. But he always seemed to come back. But he was a warrior, great player, great guy. But I think I was doing Slane's skate or something, and Ducky comes out, Ben Stafford, and he looks at me and goes, holy fuck. And I was like, he goes, wow, they're fast. I'm like, we're pretty fast too. Yeah. But then, you guys kind of got your feet underneath because we hadn't played. You don't know what to expect. When you're not played a team, you see video, but they were fucking good.
Oh, yeah.
They were a fucking good hockey team, man. And the fact that you guys pulled that off and beat them 4-0. I mean, what was the first game? 1-0 and 2-1 OT, I think. Sharpie scored in overtime to win the second game, and then we went home and kind of took it to him a little bit, which was awesome. But just so many memories from that year and the run you guys went on. We won. We set a record, but it ended up getting broken by Kucherov and the boys in Norfolk when he was in Norfolk. They finally broke that record. With Cooper was the coach, I think. He's coaching Tampa now. Yeah. But I mean, it was just
the record?
Well, we had it at 17. I think it was to break it at 27 or something like that.
They just
shattered it.
They shattered it. But I mean, you think about it, 27 is just ridiculous. But even 17 to win 17 games in a row, and like you said, this wasn't a watered down league. This was you were playing against people that had already played in NHL, and it was just a magical year. I remember John Simmer.
Yeah.
Oh, poor guy. He scored. I shouldn't say poor guy. Great, I love Simmer, but he was wild. But there was a stretch there where I feel like he scored 2 goals a game.
I think he scored every game in those 17 game stretch.
Literally could just snap the fucking biscuit. He scored every fucking game.
Yeah.
Gratz wanted to kill him a lot of the times, but jokingly, but
he had a cannon of a shot.
Oh yeah, he was so good around the net too.
He had a 70. He
loved to score. This guy.
Yes,
he loved to score.
I remember Brett Hull, one of my first few years, I remember giving him some shafts because we had shafts that were 65 and 70 flex. No one used that back in the day. Now it's all anyone uses.
Right.
But Simmer did. He had a 70 flex, and he could just, like you said, that stick would just bend, but boy, could he score.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was just such a great year. And talking about kidding around about Slanes with his injuries, fuck, you battled through some shit in the playoffs here. I think you broke your thumb, your jaw.
Yeah, I mean, everyone, when you go that far, right? And I mean, everyone has battles, everyone has wounds, and everyone has kind of some broken bones and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, that's why we have pretty good doctors there and whatever else. But no, it just, I mean, when you go that far, and that's kind of what makes it so special.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, with all due respect, you go down the list and probably name, you know, each guy had 2-3 injuries. You know, was seeing Jimmy Mack and Sal all the time. And yeah, and that's just kind of truly what made it just that much more special. You know what I mean? It just kind of all the sacrifices that you made, and yeah, the battles that you had to go through throughout the through the playoffs. It was just yeah, it was amazing.
It's crazy because I'm battling like a damn hangover, and he's got a broken jaw.
Yeah.
But no, like watching you guys as a staff member, watching you guys, knowing you're hurt, knowing your hand's broken. And even Slane's had a broken hand. Like he had a broken bone in his hand. And all you guys, like you said, just about everyone, you just, it does make it that much more special.
Yeah.
When you're seeing, and you know what guys are going through, and no one can say it. No one's gonna go, oh, I've got this, I've got that, you know. But fuck, what a year! It was just awesome.
Yeah, wouldn't have quite the same feel if everyone finished the game in the playoffs fully 100%
Well, and
healthy.
you know, remember,
It's just,
remember Izzy, Ryan Reddy, broke his foot.
That's right.
I actually cut his skate in half to put so he could fit his cast in it, and he skated around and raised the
Oh,
car.
yeah, I remember that, yeah.
I made him I cut an old skate so he could put his boot in it, because he's like, I'm fucking skating. Yeah. But
how cool is that?
You know, you fucking forget about, we didn't have him in the in the finals, but like you said, we picked up a couple good players, Mike Richards and Jeff Carter. They were okay coming in there, but like you said, Randy, just a fucking special year.
Yeah. When you mentioned Ryan Reddy holding the cup, do you remember when it was like this, after we had won that night, we had like another celebration. We came on the ice and did the whole thing.
Yeah.
Remember when I had the cup and I was ripping around the rink and I went on my knees and my knees got stuck in the ice and I started falling forward with the cup. I had the cup over here. I started rolling over and recovered and kept the cup up.
Baller, you gotta see me get fined.
Oh man, I thought all I could think of was like, I'm shattering this cup right now. This thing's gonna blow up.
It's probably happened.
Wow, I mean, I think it was that night there was some fireworks up there.
Oh yeah, it was fireworks.
I think Boosie just ruined the cup.
The inside. Oh, it was tarnished.
I remember the first time I was fortunate enough to win with the Phantoms was back in 97, 98, and Craig Darby, Jim Montgomery was on that team, the coach of the Bruins, and we were at this. Do you ever go to Balloons? I don't want to throw you out there, but do you ever go to that after hours place, Balloons in Jersey? I don't know if it was. I don't know if it was kicking when at this point in time.
It sounds familiar, but I'm not going to say it was there.
Yeah. So anyway, I was standing on one side of Darb's, Craig Darby, and he's got the cup. We just had our 25th year anniversary this past summer for that first cup. Anyway, Darbs is standing there. I'm on one side, Sean McCosh on the other, and Darbs can't put a sentence together. It's 4 a.m. We're in this after hours place. So someone says something. I turn and go this way. McCosh goes the other way. Darbs, a tree. Straight over, fucking cups bent like this. No. He lands on it. We got it fixed the next morning. We were at the Spectrum having the parade, and I remember Johnny Stevens was like fucking losing his fucking mind. We gotta get this fixed, and luckily we found someone. So yeah, it's been beat up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh man.
So funny.
That was probably PG compared to some of the stuff.
Yeah, we'll stay PG.
Yeah.
We don't want to get too crazy here.
Yeah. So, we talk about coaches and you coaching now. Like Johnny, I mean, talk about, he's had some really good coaches with the Flyers, but then Terry Murray in LA. Yeah. Guy Boucher, to talk about like Johnny, start there, because I think probably he's your second pro coach, I guess.
Yeah. There's a lot of people at home and whatnot will kind of ask, is there a coach that you kind of remember a little bit more than the others, and I appreciate all the coaches that I had, the time and effort they put in. But for me, Johnny's he's above and beyond. Probably my favorite coach of all time.
Yeah.
He really is. I think just from his professionalism, from his intelligence, from his dedication, hard work, just who he is as a person, how much he kind of cares. For you as an individual, not just in the hockey, but just as you as a person. And I know there's some times where there's some difficult times, that players go through and whatnot, and him reaching out, you know, on his own kind of thing, away from the rink, kind of checking in, so to speak. It was just, there was a lot of things that I took from him that I'm trying to carry over. I don't think I'll ever do it justice, but I'm trying to carry over into my coaching. But yeah, I truly appreciate what he did for me as a person. I don't think I recognized it at the point until later on. You kind of like, oh wow, like I really, really, truly wish I could be able to kind of had that sink in a little bit more back then. You know, with being young and thinking you kind of know it all, so to speak, you know, it's just kind of you take for granted some of those people in your lives that truly care about you and want, you know, what's best for you.
Yeah.
But he was awesome. He was, like I mentioned, by far my favorite coach. By far.
Yeah.
Great man.
That's how I feel
Great
too.
man.
Yeah. Just a good person.
Yeah.
Just good overall human being.
Yeah, because you said it, like he cares, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about the hockey piece, but like
And
more
it's being
importantly, it's
proven.
about you. Yeah,
It's being proven. I mean, he's been.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, he got his stint in the NHL, and he's been there ever since for a reason.
Right.
And you know, I think a lot of times if he's not who he is, you know, how we're describing him, then he may not get the opportunities that he gets and deserves.
yeah, yeah.
And all the cups and everything else. So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
It's incredible.
Yeah, total pro and communication, right? He was like one of the first coaches that I remember ever really sitting you down and having like a normal conversation. I'm like, wow, this is pro hockey coach. Like, you know, like I'm so used to like not hearing from the coach or being short, or if you did hear from the coach, it was, you know, what you did wrong. But you know, having a coach that look you in
Or
the eye and
strictly
just
about hockey.
Yeah,
you know
right.
what I mean? Didn't really
Exactly.
ask you questions about your personal life or your family or, you know, some of your interests away from hockey or
right.
whatever else, you know. And I felt he was like that. And like I mentioned, there's a couple instances that happened that, you know, that he reached out on his own type of thing. And you know, you may not appreciate the time, but now looking back, it's like, you kind of wish you know, like I mentioned, you kind of wish you took a little bit more to heart back then than you know, as you do now.
Yeah, no doubt. How was working or playing under Terry Murray? Because you had him as an assistant coach.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he was an assistant here, with Philly here, and then when I was in LA, he was in LA. Another great person, another good guy, another you know, another coach that I took a lot from. Really enjoyed him as a coach as well. Yeah,
because after he left LA, I lined up working with him. He was head coach of the Phantoms.
Yes, yeah.
So I got you know, and
Black shoes.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. I always remember those black sneakers.
Okay, come right to me, hand them like.
Yeah.
he loved those wheels,
Buddy,
all blacks.
Thank God I never misplaced them. I think poor Damien Parmalee did one night.
Oh, it probably threw him off.
Oh, threw him way off. Like, if he didn't have those shoes, man.
Hey, it's all about comfort on the bench now.
Well, I know, but it was
rocking
just
the dress
he had
shoes.
two. He did have two parallels.
Did he, yeah?
So he had backups.
Oh.
But it
Who was the other one? There was another assistant coach that did the exact same thing.
Oh, really?
with the Flyers.
He was with Hitch.
Oh, Cashman. Wayne Cashman.
No.
Wayne
He was
Cashman,
in
not Wayne Cashman. The white-haired
oh,
dude.
jeez,
The
I had him
white-haired
in
guy.
Flemmer.
I had him in,
Flemmer.
Flemmer.
That's sorry,
Yes.
Wayne Cashman.
Yes.
Flemmer. I was.
That's Flemmer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Flemmer.
it was another
Flemmer
guy. I
did
still
the
remember
same
both
guy?
him. I remember they always, they had the sneakers. Those just really all black, comfy sneakers on the bench.
I respect them what they did now. Like looking back, I would have chosen a little fancier sneaker, but nonetheless, like what do I know? But I mean, if it's about comfort and standing on the bench for 3 hours, you can't be rocking like a flat dress shoe all day.
No.
Back would be toasted now.
I mean, you did.
I watched
for 7 years of coaching.
watched him show up with those shoes
You
every
just
day.
watched them.
I was like,
never
wow.
thought maybe I should grab a pair. Like, fuck.
Well, I thought they were.
Come on, Riggs.
I know. I just got swallowed up by the look of those.
You were too wound up.
I was
couldn't
wound up.
do it.
You were too wound up.
I was like, I had to find a cooler looking shoe.
Jonesy, I was gonna ask you, like, what was your favorite, or I don't know, favorite's the word, but biggest moment, your first goal in NHL, or you know, like, I guess favorite moment, or
Beating the pants off JVR.
You know, I haven't. Okay, we were losing. Scoring my first goal. What was that one?
I said beating the pants
We're
off
gonna get
JVR.
into that. Poor JVR runs into the windmill, the Jonesy windmill.
Yeah, right.
We'll talk about that.
Scoring my first goal, it was cool. It was a really cool experience because my parents were in town.
Nice.
Just coincidentally, you know, they were in town, just down for a visit, and we ended up losing the game. So it was, you know, obviously you can't celebrate too much, but when you kind of leave that room, leave the dressing room and you go to the the family room, whatever else, and you see mom and dad, especially being a young guy, whatever else, and you're scoring your first thing. It's kind of you want to crack a smile, but it's like just wait a sec, wait till we get to the hallway where there's nobody around, and then you kind of share a hug or whatever else. But it was pretty cool. But in all honesty, what I remember the most was my first game, because that night. My girlfriend at the time, she was in town. She's never been to an NHL game before. I got tickets from Sharpie. So we went to that game. They played, I'm pretty sure it was the Senators. And they had a brawl that night. Oh. And there was a brawl and there was a bunch of injuries. And so I was in the stands, whatever else. I get a tap on my shoulder. I'm like, look around, whatever else. And they're like, Randy, I'm like, yeah, like, you got to go home and change. You're getting called up. And I'm like, what? Like, I didn't think it was real. Anyways, like, no, like, seriously, like, you got to go now. And, I kind of started taking him serious because he did have a suit on. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe he knows what he's talking about. So I, told the girlfriend, like I mentioned at the time, and I was like, okay, we got to go home because they played the following night in Washington. So this was the second period. So I go home, I change whatever else, I come back, and after the game, I'm in the room and I'm waiting. I'm just kind of pacing. I'm nervous. I have no idea what's going on. Slanes and Freddie Meyer, they got called up too. And anyways, and so then and I think it was close to after the deadline. And I think Berkey and Bronco Radovojic, I think they just got traded at that time. Okay. And they've never been to the train station. So they're asking me, are you driving? I'm driving there. But okay, we'll follow you. I'm like, I have no idea where I'm going. Like, you're following me. You're following the wrong guy here. So it was like, no, we'll just follow you. Just follow somebody else. I'm like, all right. So anyway, so I jump in. I'm following, blah, blah, blah. We're on the 76. Traffic jam. Bam. Smash. I hit this person in front of me. Berkey hits me. Bronk or someone else hits them. So there's like a traffic jam, and I'm going to my first NHL game. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. Flemmer pulled over. Wayne Fleming, he pulled over. And cops were there, whatever else, and and it's just like, oh my God, like they had to, the train had to cancel, had to wait the train, stop the train. Oh yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, like I'm gonna get murdered right now. The boys, the players are gonna hate me. Like I'm never gonna get called up again. Like whatever. Anyways, and so make a long story short, we get there, we're late, we're getting on, and everyone just started clapping when I walk on. I'm like, all right. I mean, like at least they're cool about it, whatever else. It's just nice. Anyways, and so that was it. And so we go to the game, and then we get there that night, whatever else, and we play the next night. And I still don't know if I'm playing because I'm the third call-up D-man. So you had Slanes was the first call-up, and then you had Freddie was the second one, and then we were waiting on I don't know if it was Bundy, I think that was maybe injured or whatever else, and so we're waiting to get word. Anyway, so I got called in the afternoon, like, yeah, he's not, because there was no morning skate either, because it was back-to-back. So I called in the afternoon, like, yeah, you're playing. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Here we go.
Here we go.
So anyway, so I called mom and dad, and I don't sleep at all in the afternoon, obviously. Call mom and dad and share with them, this, that, and the other. And that was it. But I couldn't believe it. I never thought I was going to get another opportunity after that because I made the train stop and wait for me, like be late and waiting for me. I mean, now thankfully, Berkey and Bronco were behind me as well, so they were part of it. But it was just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening right now. I can't believe it. So, so that was one I won't forget.
That's
for sure.
Statement.
That's for sure. Wild.
At least he didn't shut down Waltman Bridge like Sal Rafa did.
Yeah.
Single-handedly.
Remember that one. I remember that
Single-handedly. Delayed the NHL hockey game.
Little guy, Sal Rafa, shut the bridge down.
That was wasn't that lockout year as well? Or was that after?
I think it was after the lockout year, yeah.
Because I remember when he had a year that he battled through a lot that year. He ruined some machine he carried because it was raining out. I remember he carried it in
Tony
over his head.
The fuck out and
he carried it over his head, whatever else, and then it broke, whatever else. And Jimmy Mack was like, "Oh my God, what are you doing here, Rafa?"
Yeah, he had a rough start.
Man.
Pulled it together.
That was his first year, actually, the lockout with the Phantoms.
Yeah, it was.
First
year
with us. Yeah,
I thought he quit 7 times.
I think he wanted to. Yeah,
I think he wanted
but he was awesome.
Oh,
he was
Sushi.
great.
Fucking love Sushi.
Yeah, he was good.
We have a message from our sponsor, HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh does all the shopping and meal planning for you. Ingredients arrive at your doorstep, pre-portioned and ready to cook, along with pictured step-by-step recipe cards. How easy is that?
Well, I was going to ask you, like, an unfortunate event that happened. Obviously, definitely wasn't anything malicious. The hit on Bergeron in Boston, man, and I remember when that obviously I was there. I remember that happened. And I just remember, like, obviously you weren't that type of player for one, and it was totally an accident. And I remember just the look on your face after, and you were totally bothered with it. But did you ever get a chance to talk to Berge, or like I think he knew you there wasn't malicious. But when that happens in a hockey game, you're gonna have guys who are gonna try to like come after you, right?
Yeah.
Because of a hit like that.
Yeah, I mean obviously that's not the kind of player that I was, right. And whatnot, and so yeah, there was zero intent whatsoever, and I wasn't even actually looking at the play when I finished my hit on him. I wasn't even looking at him. I know he moved the puck over to the weak side, and so my head was kind of going that way, and finished my check, and then afterwards, adrenaline was going and everything else and whatnot, and not even realizing that he was still injured and still down and everything. And so yeah, I felt really bad. I really did, because it's not me. It's not who I am. And then the other part is, the amount of attention you're going to start getting because of that.
Yeah,
it's
right.
not, again, that's not who I am. I'm not a big attention seeker. And so I felt really bad. I really did. Because it was a bang play. I just wanted to go and finish my check, and unfortunately, it was a situation that happened. Very fortunate afterwards that he came back and had a pretty strong career. I take a little bit of credit though. I don't know.
You woke him up.
I did. No. Yeah. I gave him the rest of the year off. Go soak up some sun, enjoy the weather there down south, and come back stronger next year, my man. But no, it was all joking aside. I reached out to him, the next day or 2 days later, left him a voicemail. Yeah. Never heard back, but I think he understood that it's not really me. It wasn't my intent, and whatnot, and definitely felt bad for him. Really.
Yeah,
did.
I remember. I felt for you. I felt for him. I felt for you because I knew you obviously, and I knew it wasn't something. And that's where a lot of people just don't understand how fast the game happens. And we've talked about this a lot with some hits where a guy will turn themselves last second, and you're just going to finish a hit. I mean, it happens a lot, but I wasn't bringing that up for any kind of negative reason. But it was just something that happened. It was unfortunate, but we all knew you weren't that type of player, and it was it's a bang play, like you said.
I'm glad he came back and obviously had a tremendous career, and which is fantastic to see. So yeah, I mean, it was an unfortunate, very very much so, but definitely happy that he had the career that he did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were kind of joking earlier about the JVR fight, but like
you gotta throw that one up.
You step up and crush G. Was it G?
Try it, yeah.
Try to,
yeah.
But I think you did.
It was a system, again, like we talked about earlier there with Bush. It was a system that he played, where he had that weak side D man playing way back, in that somewhat trap situation, and when you had a skilled forward like that, trying to skill his way through the neutral zone, whatever else, he wanted the defenseman to step up and lay the body on him, and so I tried to, and whatever else, and a little bit of a knee on knee situation, a little bit possible trip, and understanding who it was, the star player. So I just turned around and threw my gloves off, expecting any white jersey that was going to come. Yeah. Okay, let's go, and then. It was JVR, and I know him a little bit. We played, a little bit together there in Philly, and great guy, whatever else. And I don't even think he was coming in to fight, whatever else. But I was expecting someone, and I didn't know who else was on the ice. And I'm glad, Riles, you weren't. But I was expecting someone, so I just threw him and just tried to throw as much as I could and throw as fast as I could. So that was basically about it, really.
Yeah.
We were laughing about that because I think Baller kind of brought that up, and it was funny. We watched the clip where like Jonesy just turns. It's almost like who's coming? You see a white jersey. I'm going.
Poor JVR is actually floating by.
He's trying to come pick up the puck.
I think there's a 2-on-1.
No, fuck you, man.
Yeah, fuck that.
Oh, that's classic.
That's funny, man. Oh, that's awesome.
Talk about, you landed up leaving Philly, going to LA, then you went to Tampa, Winnipeg, and I think you played maybe 40 games in the Peg, and then finished off in the American League. Like, how was that last few years for you? Considering you work your ass off, get to the top, play, significant years in the NHL, and then how does that play out? Are you kind of feeling the grind?
Yeah, the body was definitely feeling the grind, and there's times you kind of you get a little complacent.
Yeah.
Yes, there's some people at home, they may not understand it, but it's not all that fame and glory, right?
Right.
There's a lot of down times to it. There's a lot of hard times that you kind of go through, and so I just think that towards the end of it, you start looking at other things that you may want to do in life, and so that was part of it. I wanted to play a couple more years, for sure. Got some health issues that wouldn't allow me to play anymore, and so that was kind of the situation that kind of came down to it. And then you kind of start looking a little bit further down the road of what else is next and whatnot. But really enjoyed my time in Winnipeg. It was pretty cool to be back there for the inaugural year.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
It was pretty neat and whatnot. And they love the city. They love being back there. And and it was an awesome time. And then a couple years, in the American League to kind of finish off the career, and then started with some family stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So eventually the vehicle just couldn't move along any further. He just felt like you had to kind of pump the brakes and move on.
Well, I had some surgeries. I ended up having a simple back surgery go wrong, if you will.
Geez.
So I had some more surgeries after that.
You need your
which
back.
ultimately,
Yeah.
they're
You might need that.
important nowadays. So, and they're hard to get off Amazon. They don't fucking have them on Amazon. So just like everything else, right? But no, it was just kind of one of those things where, I wasn't able to play anymore at all.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have been able to get the green light by any doctor by any means. And so
All
it was
right,
just
so
kind of
you're
those things.
forced out.
I was forced
Yeah,
out in
right.
that regard. So
To have a quality of life too. after
yeah,
hockey,
exactly.
right?
I mean,
Like,
there's it's like Riles, there's a lot more to life than hockey, and it's a big part of it, but there's other parts as well that you kind of want to be a little bit healthy for,
Yeah,
So
no doubt. That's
kind of
the truth.
enjoy.
for sure.
Talk about your last year. You landed up in Portland playing for Slains. Well, he was
Yeah.
assistant, I believe, right? Or
Yeah,
was he-
Slains was the assistant. Yeah, it was. It was a situation that kind of presented itself. I thought it was an ideal situation where it was just a few hours from home.
That's
I think it was
right.
4.5 hours from home, so it was pretty convenient in those regards and whatnot. And I had a little one there at the time. My daughter, she would have been 1 or 2 at the time, so it was kind of convenient in those regards to kind of travel back and forth a little bit and stuff. So it was good though. It was nice to finish off the career there and have Slains, be one of the coaches. We had a bad team, but it was good to kind of have him there and whatnot. So
Well, I want to know why in the hell did you start that brawl against the Phantoms?
I don't.
I'm kidding. I just remember it. I don't remember a lot.
I can't remember how it
I
started.
don't even remember how it started either.
The game,
I really don't.
just
I remember
someone
the
sent
game
me
was
the
like
video.
the game was getting like a little feisty, and like every whistle there seems to be like like a little scrum, and then next thing you know, just all hell breaks loose because we were playing at the other building there in
Yeah.
Down in,
Lewiston,
Lewiston,
right? Yeah.
That's right, Lewiston. Yep.
Yeah.
And then it just like
I've been there. No, the Null team.
Oh,
there,
right,
so
yeah.
I've been there a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not much of a city.
Nah.
No, it was not.
No, not much of a city at all. But yeah, I don't know how that started. I don't even know how it started. I don't.
Were you on the ice for it?
I barely remember it.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to pull that footage up, Baller, and see if he was on there.
But I think I remember texting you afterwards and like, wow, that really escalated.
Yeah, oh,
I remember
yeah.
that part.
Yeah, do you remember that
But
part?
I remember texting you afterwards, and you're like, yeah, like, holy fuck, like, what happened? Like, I don't know.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah, I did.
I don't know.
I can't remember. I remember just like being like, "Holy shit!" Like you
Yeah.
don't see that very often anymore.
Oh my
you know?
God.
Ron Burgundy.
Yeah,
really quick.
I guess 2 bad teams too, right? We weren't very good
Yeah,
either.
I think we were dead last, I think, that year.
Oh,
They probably
man.
been second last. It was just battle of the bottom.
basement.
Yeah.
Yeah, we really wanted to finish last.
All right.
It just made me think of something too, and I think we've said this before on here like a couple years ago, but I'll never forget Randall. I was in the locker room. I think I was just getting ready for practice. It was Danny B, Simone, you at your stalls, and Danny and Gags were speaking French, which they normally wouldn't, but they were just right beside each other. And Gags or Danny asked the question, to one way or the other. They asked one of them asked the question in French, and you answered it in English. And they both turned.
I remember.
Oh, really?
And I was like, wait a minute. And then, but you spent time in the queue, right?
No.
That's where you're not in the queue, but you.
Well, I grew up. I took French in school.
That's what I mean.
So I knew some.
So I'm sorry. Yeah, you knew some French, and they were like, "Thank God we didn't say anything."
Yeah,
back.
probably. Yeah, like, oh,
and then you understand it, but you don't really speak it because your dad.
It's not well anymore. But I went to French immersions.
But
well.
I just remember laughing my ass off. I was like, God, I wish they would have said something spicy. So
I know, right?
They would have known.
Yeah.
But I just remember their look on their faces, like, whoa, what happened here?
Jones understands French.
Yeah. Jones, Randy Jones, Jose.
Yeah, right.
Who is this? Yeah. Oh, it just popped in my head. Sorry, I thought that was so funny.
Shout out to Danny B too.
Yeah,
good for him.
Right?
Great. He's doing a
Good for
great
him.
job.
Yeah,
he was a great. He was a really. I remember guys would ask, what was he like and everything. And I think the biggest thing that he was just a good person.
Yeah,
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
he was just a nice guy, like a really nice guy, and for being a star that he was, you wouldn't take it from his personality. You know what I mean?
agree.
Like he treats everybody the same, and he was kudos to him for getting where he's at now.
Yeah.
Great
He's put the
career.
time in for sure.
He did put the time in. He
He spent a lot of time with Maine there.
Yeah, he did.
But have you been watching playoffs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I obviously go for the Flyers. But then I kind of root for Edmonton a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a McDavid fan. I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard.
He's
I don't know. It's
all
hard
right.
not
How
to.
can you not?
He does a bit. He does all right. Like there,
It's not
so.
bad. What do you think of the cross check to McJesus and no one did anything?
I wasn't up for that one. I didn't stay up, but I saw the highlights of it. Yeah, it was. That was a pretty good one to the chops.
Yeah.
That was a really good one.
I said to Rouse.
I think something will happen next year. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, good
yeah.
point. Usually, sometimes
know.
that does. You don't want to screw something up for the team, right?
Well, it's even like Bennett
Yeah.
Yeah.
and for
Something
Florida
will
there.
happen.
That's something. I mean,
I love
something at some point will happen.
Biz actually, they interviewed him the other night, and he came on TNT after, and they actually asked him about the push and then the goal, and he gave his explanation. I barely touched him, and I don't think anyone could have got to it. And then he says, well, what about the punch to Marchand? I was just trying to protect myself. I'm hurt. He almost said my hand, but we all know it's his hand. He got hit with a shot. Yeah. But he's like, I'm just putting my hands up to protect myself, and unfortunately, I got him. And Biz goes, he'd be a hell of a lawyer, man.
Yeah, is that what he said?
Bullshit.
Yeah, there was definitely some intent.
Oh, hell yeah.
Are you kidding me?
You finally get the other angle. I think Baller, he definitely.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, hey, it's
Right.
playoffs, and
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
If it was
man.
anybody else running at him but Marchand, he probably wouldn't have done that. But he probably saw this guy coming at him and just like, I'm going to get him.
I mean, Bennett does play
He plays hard. Yeah, he does.
physical game, but yeah, he meant to do that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
He got him good.
I think he did anyway.
Pivotal
Well, he
moment of the
couldn't get
series.
up. Like, I was like, fuck,
I didn't think he got him
seen
that.
it from the one angle. I'm like, why can't he get up? Like,
I didn't think he got him that good.
And then when they finally see it, but anyway, yeah, the playoffs is my favorite time of year. It's just I'm up out all night watching games, and it's Rouses too. It's amazing. He's usually in bed at 8.
Checking the box score in the morning.
Texting last night at like 10. I was
I
like,
know,
what
it's
is
late
going
night.
on right now?
Late night.
Baller and I, usually it's just me and him on the thread.
Got a little excited with the Boston Florida game.
Debo says, yeah.
Yeah.
He's a smart man, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, he is. I'm not?
Clarkson University.
That's
yeah,
right.
you are. Well, you stood there and let people punch you in the face.
Yeah,
so, I mean, a lot of people are going to say
wasn't that smart.
That's not that smart.
I still remember that one though against Raw.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
That was fucking awesome.
That poor guy never played again.
Well,
that was-
with the
because
lightning.
of
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
That
crazy.
one was awesome.
Yeah, that was. I wish they all went that way. Wouldn't have to retire at 28.
Oh, yeah,
man.
that's true. Good point.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, real quickly, we'll let you go, Randall. But how tough was that Phantoms team we had, too? We talked about how good of a team it was, but fuck, we were tough.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of meatballs on there, but there's some guys that that could play hockey too.
Yeah.
Like, they were good hockey
Ryan
players
Ratty
as well.
is a guy I always think of, like he was.
Even Mark Murphy was.
Yeah, Murph. Fuck, he was tough.
He could
That
he could
Boston
chuck him.
boy.
Yeah.
Boston
Yeah.
boy, he's tough, man. Middleweight.
And then
I think
obviously
guys, yeah.
the rest of them, the obvious ones,
Well,
right?
yeah. You had Gratz who.
Oh, you had Friggy, you had Gratch, you had yourself, you
Well,
had Eags, you had Scholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I called Scholes Deuce because I swear he had two person. I'm the nicest guy, and then he get in a game in his eyes and start spinning. Stick work galore.
Oh yeah.
No, it was a tough team though. I mean, it wasn't just team. But yeah, like just some of those guys that you mentioned.
I mean, Yanni Pickett
may not be the big fighter or whatever, but they're tough. Like they're blocking shots and broken bones and playing through them all. But again, that just kind of reflects a little bit of the boss. Like Johnny was like that, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
he's a war. There's no one bigger warrior than him, and so you follow suit a little bit, and you don't want to let him down. You
got Chief on the bench, and
Chief was there. Yeah, exactly.
Think about that.
Yeah. Is he going to get Toronto or what?
I don't know. Nice to get this
he just interviewed Winnipeg.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, yesterday.
It was a virtual one, but
there's a lot of teams that want him.
I don't know if he would want Toronto.
Yeah,
he played there.
Yeah, it's a different animal.
I'm not a
for
Leafs
sure.
fan, and I want Chief to do well, and it's great. He won in St. Louis, and so I hope he does really well. But I'm not a Toronto fan. I'm not a Leafs fan at all.
Right,
and so my family, they all cheer for the Leafs, and so obviously I have to root against them, right?
Yeah.
So it's just we have a text thread at home, and I'm just all over it every time that they lose. But it's So I don't want them to win, but I want Chief to win. So I'm hoping he goes to the peg.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nice.
I mean, I know the Devils wanted him. He's interviewed with them. He obviously interviewed with Ottawa, turned that down, and obviously they hired Travis Green. We talked about that last week. But, there's a – knowing Chief, Chief, you obviously played for him as well. Like, guys love playing for him.
Oh, yeah.
They love playing for him, man.
Just guys that are down to earth that treat you like
that's it, right?
You know what I mean? You're not a pawn, right? Like right. Yes, I'm your coach, whatever else, but I don't own you.
Yeah.
Like it's just different roles. You're a player, I'm a coach, and let's kind of work together, so to speak. And that's kind of that's kind of what he's like, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Obviously demands the most out of you, like any coach does, but
he treats you with
but he treats you like the way you're saying, like we're all the same. We're just in a different part of the team here, and
he's pretty funny.
Demean you. Yeah, he's funny. Yeah. He has a way of. Yeah, being sarcastic and sending the message in a sarcastic way, getting you to laugh at your own mistakes.
Yeah, he told I can tell this now. When he was in St. Louis, there was a few things that happened one game there, that the game in Detroit where they blew the lead, but they ended up winning in overtime. And I was in Pittsburgh with the team, and we had a day off, so we were going over to there was a football game, so we were going over to the tailgate. And hang out for a little bit, and Chief calls me as I'm walking out the door, and I said, "Hey, I just saw highlights of your games. Good win. You came back." He goes, "Boys," he's like, "We blew a 4-1 lead." He goes, I said, "Yeah, well, I saw that, but I said, at least you fought back and won. You could have folded and lost in OT, and you ended up winning." And he says, he goes, "Oh yeah," he goes, "It's 4-1. We come out floating. Fuck 4-2, 4-3. So I call a timeout. All the guys come over to the bench, if you go over as a player and the coaches, and he's like talking to Otter, Steve Ott, like this, not even looking at the boys, and he turns, looks at the guys, and goes, "Oh no, boys, I called timeout so Dylan Larkin can catch his breath and score another goal because you're letting him do whatever the fuck he wants out there." And Braden Shin's telling me the story a little bit later, and I said, "I already heard," but he goes, "We're all trying not to laugh, there's cameras on you," and then he just says. So then Larkin scores, ties the game, and then they went in OT. And he says, Chief says, "Yeah, after the game, I'm so pissed off. I'm out in the hallway, and Petro's out there. Petrangelo is the captain, and they love Chief's sense of humor, right?" And he says, "Petro, come here for a second." He goes over. He goes, "Hey, did you want us to trade you to Detroit?" He says, "Fuck no, man." He goes, "Well, you were playing for him tonight." So
He's got a lot of those people.
Oh, yeah. Remember you said, speaking of Divvy, Ben Eager, he says to Eags one night, he comes back to him and she goes, "Hey, Eags, just leave your stick on the bench next shift. You don't fucking need it," he says. And Eags is dying. He's like, how do you even get mad? It's just the shit he says. But, oh, man, he used to chirp Yogs all the time. It was hilarious. And Yogs loved it. Oh, my God. He'd be like, "Hey, Yogs, great kill. Way to kill it off for him. Just hold it on the wall. Just hold it for 2 minutes." Because, Yogs would get it. He'd be massaging it, looking around. And Yogs would just have it. I remember the one night Yogs said, he's like, "Oh, you play a lot of power play?" He goes, "Nope. I was out there dropping the mitts, slapping guys around." Yogs is dying. But, we'll see where Chief ends up. I don't know if it's going to be the Peg.
Yeah, wherever he lands up.
You're going to go be an assistant with him if he goes to the Peg?
Gives me the tap.
You got to shave.
I got to shave on.
You gotta shave.
We're changing the look behind the bench now.
Hey.
Now you can wear sweatshirts and we may have beards. And
Hey,
man
how about
buns.
this? The Flyers.
And your comfy sneakers.
And
on.
comfy
Get some good
sneakers, yeah,
sneakers.
right.
eh?
You will definitely get comfy sneakers.
It won't be all black. So have a little
The
white sole.
Flyers. So when I was telling you, we were in Boston, and the boys are leaving. They're going to the plane. They're allowed to wear tracksuits now.
Oh, really?
Oh,
They're
yeah.
like Lululemon.
After the game?
Yeah,
To the game.
like full on sweatsuits.
Full
like,
on. They
it was like-
could go. Yeah, Torts' rule. They could go. They go to the game. They
the
don't
road
wear
game?
suits. Yeah.
He was in
I
Boston.
was shocked. I said, who came over and talked to us?
There's lots of Farabee.
Lots comes over. I just like that about hockey.
I
The
think-
guys.
yeah.
That's just my opinion.
I'm with you.
I like when the guys like.
You look good.
I think for home games they have
They
to,
have
but
to.
I think it was like if they're
It's on the
traveling
road,
after
'cause
they can
I mean, it's a
they can
fucking
rock.
45-minute flight.
I get it.
Lot.
Yeah.
With all due respect.
Yes.
$2,000 suits.
Yeah.
They're not that uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
Like,
point.
I remember when the basketball and they changed NBA and they changed it where I don't know if they were allowed to just kind of wear whatever
They wear whatever
want.
they want.
And I'm just like, meh.
Express themselves.
I think it just takes away from that true professionalism.
I do
that,
too.
you know,
I
that
do
kids
too.
kind of look up to, going like, oh wow, like
Right.
you know,
This is the
like,
standard.
You're at the top. Like,
Right.
you're,
Right.
You know, I like that.
I do
agree.
too.
And I don't think they're that uncomfortable suits.
Yeah. You have
you
to
know.
wear a sweatsuit. Yeah.
I'm old school. Like I'm a basketball guy, but like Michael Jordan wore suits to the game.
Yeah.
Can't we wear suits to the game?
What's
You got
LeBron
every
wear?
day, every other day besides game. That is even the NBA. Like when guys come dressed, I think it looks awesome.
Yeah.
But it's a different league, different game. But whatever. I'm old too, so I'm old school.
Yeah.
But I agree with Randall. I just think
I-
it looks
I-
sharp when the guys come in, especially
agree.
the guys that do have style.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Pasa.
Oh, yeah.
Pasa looks sick,
Yeah.
man. Like he
He
comes
still
in with his
can.
hat.
Yeah, you still
of
can. Yeah,
course.
exactly. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was wild. We couldn't believe it. Lots comes out and he's got a tracksuit on. I'm like, wait, what are you? He's like, oh yeah, we don't have to wear suits anymore. I'm like, wow, okay. Whatever.
Yeah. Change the game. Coaches behind the bench don't have to wear suits anymore.
Oh yeah, they do wear
zip ups.
Yeah,
don't
those
they?
zip-ups, yeah.
Okay, all right.
So the man bun
It's
and beard.
changing. It's changing, Randy.
And I hate how the world's evolving too.
Anyways, that'll be 2.0.
Let's don't-
2.0 with
we won't
Jonesy.
be on anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No,
Unpack
but,
that can of worms.
Randall, we appreciate you, brother, man.
no
Miss
problem.
you so much, man.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
good to see you, especially when you're coming in once a month. We should be seeing you a little more, even
Yeah.
if it's go have a pop or something.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And wish you all the best and luck, and with your coaching and your family, your new boy. Got to get him on skates. You seen that Stammer commercial where he's talking to Hedman? He's got a newborn. He goes, "Oh, you don't have him on skates yet?" It's a newborn. Yeah. Better start saving for college or he says something like that. So get that boy on skates.
I know, I will.
Get him
I
on
will.
skates, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, appreciate it, guys. This is awesome. It was great to see you. Great to see you guys again. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Too long. It was good to see Raul's there a month ago at the Flyers game. It was awesome kind of chill with him for a bit and chit chat about some other guys. And Nasty, it's good to see you again, too.
See you too,
Really,
brother.
really is.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
man. All right, brother.
Sweet, thank you. Big thank you to our good friend Randy Jones for stopping by the stew.
So happy to see
Oh,
him.
yeah.
I think he's more jacked than he was when he
is,
played. He's
man,
a big kid.
Yeah, he is. I don't remember his shoulders being that wide.
I kind of do.
Yeah.
I kind of remember him being big, but I think he's even got
bigger.
more muscle.
Yeah, he
more
does.
muscle than he did. But he,
Jacked up.
great guy, man. He was a hell of a player.
He
too.
was.
Really, really good.
I think he was
hockey
very
player.
underrated, honestly.
He was on it. He was. He wasn't the fastest guy, but he could get there, and he had good mitts. Like
Good mitts, and I remember him being just so composed.
Very
You know, it was like
Just demeanor,
just
too,
demeanor,
right?
the way
Yeah.
he carried himself, and nothing really bothered him.
Yeah.
And he's always in position.
Yes.
You know, he was never like running around and
Right.
doing extra stuff they didn't need to do. But yeah, I think underrated defenseman. And,
Yeah.
you know, because he kind of quietly played almost 360 NHL games, and
I know.
but
Great guy.
Great to see him.
Yes,
coming
very
through
good
the
to
stew.
Exactly.
It's that time.
Is it?
Is it ever?
Oh, time for clear questions.
Yep.
Clear Questions brought to you by Clear Rum. Go to clearrum.com/shop. Type in Nasty 2023 and get 30% off of your order. PA residents only. Baller, pew, hit us up, baby.
Leading us off today, over on Twitter, we have John Walker.
Walksy.
John Walker wants to know, what's your favorite Danny B goal of all time?
Well, there were a lot of them, Riggs.
There was a few.
I think I liked all his goals, but one that I think for some reason the one that really stands out to me was his first game. We played in Calgary, and he scored a goal, I think in the third. I feel like it was in the third period. We may have to go back and look. But he's like carrying a guy on his back. And like obviously Danny wasn't the biggest guy, but comes in and just roofs it. And I remember someone on the bench going, "That's why he makes $6 million," or something like that. But that one really stands out to me. I'll never forget that goal.
Yeah, I don't remember that one. But the one that jumps out to me is, I believe, in 2012 playoffs against the Devils.
Oh, yeah. Overtime.
OT winner.
Found a way.
Found a way.
That one had-
Found a
it was
way.
a C&I puck, that one.
Yeah, no doubt. And then I think, unfortunately, lost next round. But nonetheless, big goal. Big goal.
We lost the next 4.
Yeah.
But we were feeling pretty good about ourselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, just so many big goals he scored anyway. Such a playoff
Definitely
guy.
had a knack for scoring.
Thanks for the question. That was awesome.
Nikki T 5328 over on Twitter. Do you think more teams need grit in these playoffs? A lot of cheap shots and post-whistle shenanigans, but no one really standing up.
Good question. I think there's a lot of grit.
I do too. I think the problem is in the playoffs, like
There's no fighting.
First of all, you're really not going to see fighting. Second of all, I hate not putting anyone down, but I just feel like the officiating is so wishy-washy.
All over the place. I agree.
You call one in this game, you don't call one in the next game. And, the scrums I love. I think it's part of playoff hockey. But the problem is players don't want to take that penalty. It puts their team down. It's just like we talked about with Connor McDavid getting a cross-check in the teeth. Everybody on the ice probably wanted to fucking kill the guy.
Of course.
But unfortunately, you have to be aware of where you're at right now. You're in the playoffs. So I think there's some grit. I just think guys maybe, like hesitant to take that penalty.
Yeah.
Like the retaliatory. I hate when they call I know that's what they were. We're going to call the second one. Well, why the fuck aren't you calling the first one?
Yeah.
If you're going to let this guy take a shot, let the other guy take a shot. Either don't call anything or take them both off. That's my opinion.
Agreed. And in a couple of these situations we're talking about, you said McDavid, it's end of the game. The Marchand, captains, obviously elite players, and nothing is addressed. And I understand the timing of playoffs is not really the time to do it, but you think that there would be some sort of I don't want to say planned retribution, but a little more than just the skirmishes.
Yes.
But I actually do appreciate the amount of grit. I think there's, a fair amount of it.
Right.
But to address to what he's talking about, I would like to see probably, especially a couple of those situations, maybe addressed in a little bit more of a formal manner. But it is a different era.
Yeah, it is.
And the playoffs, obviously you can't be taking selfish penalties. But it's a great question.
Yeah,
great some of these be like, how does this fly? How do you let this happen? But understanding the rules and the timing of trying to get guys back is probably not in the playoffs.
And quickly, the Marchand thing, Sam Bennett's not going to fight fucking Pat Maroon.
Yeah, right.
Actually, no one on their team's probably going to fight Pat Maroon.
Why would you want to?
So, it's pretty hard for him to grab a guy and handle it, because if he grabs a guy, they're going to turtle, and he's going to get 2, 5, and a 10, and you lose a guy for the game. But it's a great question. And of course, I love the grit. You love the grit. You love I love the scrums, watching the guys chirp. It just seems to get them into the game more.
Yep.
And they're trying to break it all up. Hey, it's hockey. Let them have a little bit. I know it can't happen every single time the whistle blows, but I like to see them let them get in there a little bit more.
Agreed.
Great question. Thank you.
Yes, and that's a wrap.
That's it.
158 in the books, Nast.
Damn, in the books.
Whew. Can't believe it.
I can't either.
Gonna be stewing on this all day.
All day? On your drive?
All the way back home.
All right.
Yeah, so appreciate you guys tuning in for 158. Be sure to give us a shout, answer.
Give us a call.
Yeah,
This number is 6267.
Oh, man. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube, comment, ask a question or two for clear questions. Check us out next week for episode 159. Stay safe, knuckleheads.
See ya, and I wish you all could have seen how long that just took. Peace.
Holy fuck.